GETTYPaloma Faith wanted to prove that women aren't less committed to work after a baby, and Monday evening day-night were at the annual gala, which recognizes British luminaries who have made an impact on the global business while also raising money for charity. This year honours went to Sony record executive Rob Stringer, 55, whose award was presented to him by the first band he ever signed, the Manic Street Preachers. Rob's roster includes the likes of Bruce Springsteen, Barbra Streisand, Sade and Adele, who each recorded video tributes, while guests enjoyed performances from the likes of George Ezra and Harry. 24. New mum Paloma, 36, told us she had something to prove. I wanted to come back stronger with my new album. It was a message I wanted to give employers. Women aren't less committed to work after a baby. X Factor judge Simon, 58, told us about his recent fall, causing him to miss a week on the show. When I fell down the staircase, it was good in that it was a leveler. I've calmed things down a bit. I've been drinking loads of water and relaxing instead of focusing on work. BBC Tess Daly admits that the late Sir Terry Wogan is never far from her thoughts. Tess Daly has Sir Terry Wogan in her thoughts as Tess Daly prepares to host Children in Need. Once again, she admits that the late Sir Terry Wogan is never far from her thoughts. I always think of Terry on the night, the great Sir Terry whom I loved so much, reveals the 48-year-old Strictly host. Tess is marking a decade at the helm of the annual BBC fundraising event when she returns with new co-host Graham Norton on November 11th. She adds of the late national treasure who passed away aged 77 in January 2016, it was such an honor to work alongside him. He was the master of show business. The broadcaster presented the show for 35 years since it began in 1980 until 2015, when he had to pull out at short notice because of illness. Tess adds fondly, I can still remember standing next to him, listening to those dulcet Irish tones I grew up with. He was such a gentleman. Getty Joanna Lumley insists she is nothing like her alter ego Patsy Stone. Nothing like Patsy Stone. Joanna Lumley insists she is nothing like her perennially plastered ab-fab alter ego Patsy Stone. So little so that the 71-year-old states one of her pet peeves is boozed up British tourists. I can't stand Brits abroad when they just drink. It makes me feel so ashamed, says Joanna, who has forged a career as an ITV travel presenter in recent years. During a talk at London's World Travel Market, she adds, it sends out such a terrible message from our once proud nation. We used to travel the world. We were such interesting explorers, and now to just go and become drunken yobs is horrible. Joanna wants people to place more emphasis on travel rather than tourism, and for Brits to rekindle the sense of adventure. The world is absolutely stuffed with treasures, proclaims the star, who as a child lived in India, Malaysia and Hong Kong. If you're traveling, travel to something a bit different. Susan still loves her iconic role. It might be more than a quarter of a century old, but Susan Sarandon has no problem with still being best known for Thelma Louise. The 71-year-old starred alongside Gina Davis, 61, as a housewife and waitress whose short fishing trip descended into something rather more exciting. Susan credits director Sir Ridley Scott, 79, for ensuring the iconic film has stood the test of time. Part of why it has lived on is Ridley framed it in this heroic way, says the woman who won a Best Actress Oscar for 1996 film Dead Man Walking. I think there's something about those gals and their sense of humor, and I think people like to see women who actually like each other instead of being pitted against each other. Thelma Louise shows a friendship, a love story that is moving, funny and as true today as it was then.